May I have your attention, please?
Welcome to Real Gaijin, unveiling the real Japan, an American expat's inside look. Now it's time for another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts. Pearls of Wisdom.
68.2% of married couples in Japan don't have sex. Japan is experiencing a rise in alternative family structures, including single mothers who choose not to marry and couples opting for sexless marriages by choice.
What's new?
Confirming similar survey results, a recent large-scale study of about 4,000 couples confirmed that just over two-thirds of Japanese marriages are sexless.
Why it matters.
Such data do not bode well for a country whose population has been shrinking since October 2008 from an estimated high of 128.1 million and could fall to as low as 87 million by around 2070. Japan's Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare announced today that the total fertility rate for 2023, which represents the number of children a woman will have in her lifetime, fell by 0.06 points from the previous year to a record low of 1.20. The number of births decreased by 43,482 from the previous year to a record low of 727,277. The total fertility rate by prefecture was 0.99, a record low for Tokyo at less than 1, and all other prefectures showed a year-on-year decline. The natural increase or decrease of the population, which is the number of deaths minus the number of births, decreased by 848,659, the largest decrease ever. A total fertility rate below 2.07 means that the population simply cannot reproduce. In other words, if the current fertility rate continues, it is almost certain that Japan's population will decline in the future. However, more and more women are choosing to have children without getting married. Also, for those who want to get married but do not want the commitment of a sexual relationship, new marriage counseling services are emerging to help potential spouses find their ideal partners for friendship marriages.
By the numbers.
While numerous data points have indicated this trend for decades, the most recent survey results appear to be exceptionally high. Survey says 68.2% of married couples tend not to have sex. Of this group, 43.9% reported a complete lack of sex. Surprisingly, there was no significant difference when narrowed down to those in their 20s to 40s. When limited to those in their 20s to 40s, 64.5% of respondents tend not to have sex, including 37.6% who have no sex at all. Other earlier studies support these findings, indicating that the percentage of sexless couples is increasing every year, with many surveys showing it to be at least 50 to 60%. Gender differences. Men are more likely than women to report not having sex with their spouse. 70.1% of married men and 66.2% of married women in their 20s to 50s reported not having sex. Of these, 46% of married men and 41.7% of married women reported being completely sexless. Men were more likely than women to report being sexless in all age groups. Age distribution. The number of married couples who are sexless with their spouses increases sharply starting in their 30s. The proportion of respondents in their 20s who are sexless is about 50%, while the proportion in their 30s is as high as 70%. The proportion of men and women who are completely sexless is 25.2% and 16.4%, respectively, for men and women in their 20s, but by the time they reach their 30s, the proportion is about 40% for both men and women. More than 70% of married women in their 40s and about 80% of those in their 50s tend to be sexless. Family structure. Married couples with children are more likely to be sexless. 71.4% of married couples with children tend to be sexless, compared to 61.2% of those without children, a difference of 10 points. Global comparison. According to the Global Sex Survey, a report published in 2008 by birth control manufacturer Durex, Japanese people have sex 48 times a year, the lowest in the world, in the study, far less than half the world average of 103 times a year. Satisfaction with their sex life is also at 24%, far below the world average of 44%. By the way, in case you were curious, Greece is number 1 with 164 times a year. Limited dating experience. Never mind sex, the Cabinet Office's 2022 White Paper on Gender Equality reported that around 40% of men in their 20s have never been on a date. The Land of Virgins. According to the 2021 Basic Survey on Birth Trends, the percentage of single men aged 18 to 34 who have never had sex is 44.2%, 49.4% for women. In Japanese, such people are often referred to as soshokukei, which literally translates as herbivorous, but essentially means not hunting for opportunities to have sex. It is part of the larger trend of sekusu banare, which means becoming less sexually active. Alternatives to marriage for those who still want children. Over the past 20 years, the percentage of never-married mothers in single-mother households has doubled. According to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare's National Survey of Single-Parent Households, etc., the percentage of people falling into the never-married category as a reason for being a single-mother household has increased from about 6% in 2003, divorce accounted for about 80%, and bereavement for 12%, to about 11% in 2021. Role of sperm banks. More and more women are choosing to have children without getting married by using overseas sperm banks. In fact, about half of such users are single. Since February 2019, when the Japanese branch opened, more than 500 women in Japan have received sperm donations through Cryos International, the world's largest sperm and egg bank based in Denmark. About half of them are single women or single mothers who have chosen to be single. The same applies to the European users of Cryos, about 50% of whom are single women. The rest of the users are married couples, 30 to 40%, and same-sex couples, 10 to 20% in Japan. But in Europe this ratio is reversed, with same-sex couples outnumbering married couples. In Europe the typical customer is a highly educated and well-paid career woman, but this is not the case in Japan.
What's happening?
Some people want to get married, but do not want the commitment of having sex with their partner. This need has led to the development of a cottage industry of counseling services, such as colorists, that help potential marriage partners find suitable mates.
State of play.
Before we dive in, it is helpful to review some definitions. Love marriage. This type of marriage is based on romantic love, passion, and a deep emotional connection. The partners are attracted to each other and want to share their lives together. Sex usually plays an important role. Friendship marriage. A friendship marriage is a marriage between two people who are not in a romantic relationship, but who agree on their ideas, compatibility, conditions, etc. Even without sexual love, they have a win-win relationship based on various feelings, such as friendship and affection. Here, the core is a strong friendship, mutual respect, and trust. Couples may or may not have a strong romantic component, but they value their partner's companionship and support.
Go deeper.
Founded in 2014 with offices in Tokyo and Osaka, Friendship Marriage Counseling Service Colorist positions itself as Japan's first and only marriage agency for those who wish to have non-love marriages, such as friendship marriages, symbiotic marriages, and contract marriages. Their slogan is Ren I Ja Nai Kei Kon Nara, which translates as not love, if you're going to get married. The company claims that its experienced counselors help match potential mates nationwide and are available for online consultation and dating support. They also help coordinate marriage preparations. Of course, it's not free. While there is no charge for the initial consultation, Colorist charges a one-time registration fee of 30,000 yen, about $193, and a monthly subscription fee of 15,000 yen, just under $100. Marriage preparation costs 300,000 yen, $1,931. After 10 years in business, Colorist claims to have helped 544 people get married, with a success rate of 43.9%. According to their website, Colorist currently has 271 active clients. While these numbers may not seem significant, given the relatively low number of marriages in Japan, every successful match counts. The frequently asked questions section of the Colorist website highlights many common questions from newcomers. Question 1. I want to have a child without intercourse. What should I do? Answer. 1. Friendship marriages use non-sexual methods, injection method, artificial insemination, etc., to achieve fertility. Question 2. It seems like you have a relatively small number of registered members. Can I really meet someone? Answer 2. Although there are individual differences depending on your conditions and desires, our marriage rate is over 40%. Thus, the possibility of meeting someone is quite high. With one of the highest marriage rates in the matchmaking industry, we provide high-quality matches. Question 3. Can I still join if my sexuality is unknown? Answer 3. You can join if you think you cannot or will not have sexual intercourse with your spouse. Many people, especially women, say, I'm not sure about my sexuality. If you receive the result of friendship marriage is recommended in our suitability assessment, friendship marriage may be an option for you. Question 4. Can I still be an active member if I live in a rural area? Answer 4. Of course you can. The first and second places in the Colorist marriage rate rankings are outside the Tokyo metropolitan area. By the way, Tokyo residents are only ranked 3rd for men and 4th for women. Please see our blog for more details. Colorist characterizes a significant number of their clients as identifying as LGBTQ+ and other sexual minorities who are unable to engage in sexual activity with the opposite sex, have an aversion to being seen as romantic sexual objects, or have other difficulties considering marriage through love. The firm is quite inclusive about why their clients might want a friendship marriage. The reasons for wanting to get married vary from person to person. The logic is not much different from general reasoning. For example, I want a partner, family and children. I am lonely and afraid of being alone for the rest of my life. And, because of parental pressure, public image and career. According to the Colorist website.
Commentary.
The signs of Japan's aging and declining population are beginning to show in many ways. Especially from my perspective, living in a rural area in the southwestern part of the country, it seems that at least my area was designed and built for many more people than currently live here. Having lived and worked in downtown Tokyo for more than 25 years, however, I understand that a visitor to the nation's capital would not necessarily get the same impression. The bottom line is that something, or rather a series of things, needs to be done to arrest the rate of population decline in order to maintain a decent standard of living and quality of life, and to prevent Japan from losing its relevance as anything other than a prime tourist destination. If adopting a more inclusive attitude toward changing the conventional wisdom that a so-called traditional marriage is not the only way to ensure happiness and ultimately encourage both sexless couples and single-parent households to raise children, then I am in favor of such an approach. I also feel that it would be an oversimplification to attribute the causes of social problems such as the declining birth rate solely to herbivorous men. It is said that such men are tired of settling down and getting married because of economic instability, increasing gender equality, which is a good thing, and an overall greater emphasis on cooperation rather than competition. While all of these factors may indeed be true, I certainly hope that Japan's legions of young men and women who are considered herbivorous can learn from their Greek counterparts, just kidding, and regain their appetite for some red meat, which could lead to a revived interest in shagging, figuratively speaking.
What do you think?
What do you think about marriage without sex? All answers are completely anonymous, even to the author. Would you be willing to get married without the prospect of sex with your partner?
お疲れ様でした。
Thanks for watching and or listening to another story from the Read My Lips series of podcasts on Real Gaijin. Tell us what you think and be sure to tune in again next time.